Stars, the evening chill is upon us. Now for Chapter 2, The Tangled Web, as we delve into the fall of the House of the AZURE Pimpernel. The weight of Tillerby's confession hung heavy in the air of Mary Magdalene Catholic Church, a stark counterpoint to the festive glitter that still hung to the pews. Puny Heart stumbled out of the echoing hall, his mind a maelstrom of conflicting emotions. The carefully constructed world he'd inhabited for years was crumbling around him, revealing the cracks he'd tried so desperately to ignore. He'd never truly loved Tillerby. Their union, orchestrated by his scheming grandmother, the formidable Empress Dowager, had been a political maneuver, disguised as a fairy tale romance. Tillerby, the stunning daughter of a pie monger with a shady past, had been the perfect pawn in the game, a way to bridge the gap between the crown and the commoners. Back then, her beauty and eagerness for marriage had perfectly aligned with Puny Heart's own breeding ambitions. They'd produced offspring with alarming rapidity, fulfilling their royal duty in a way that would have made any horse lord proud. But class loyalty, like a persistent itch, had never truly left Puny Heart. His heart, or perhaps a more primal part of him, still ached for another. His childhood friend, Lily, a vision with fiery red hair and a spirit to match. She resided out in the shires, their stolen glances across crowded ballrooms and furtive meetings under the cloak of darkness had ignited a passion that Tillerby, with her predictable innocence, could never hope to compete with. Lily, unlike Tillerby, was no wilting wallflower. Her marriage bed, Puny Heart knew, was a cold and sterile affair, a loveless union that mirrored his own. Their clandestine meetings were stolen moments of passion, a rebellion against the stifling expectations of their societal roles. She craved his attention, fueled his ego with her unwavering belief in his potential, and, unlike Tillerby, she challenged him. And now the carefully woven facade of their lives had been ripped open by Tillerby's unexpected pregnancy. It was a revelation that cast a dark shadow over their carefully constructed narrative. Announcing a divorce now, under these circumstances, was unthinkable. It would turn him into the villain, the heartless cad who abandoned his wife in her most vulnerable hour. Never mind the question of who had entered Tillerby's bed and made her with child. Puny Heart knew it hadn't been him, not for the past several years. Who had been bold enough to bed Prince Puny Heart's wife? And how had that shrinking wallflower from the backstreet middle-class town of Peterborough or Rugeley, somewhere like that, where had she gotten the gumption, the nerve to conceive another man's child? Puny Heart needed a plan, a way to extricate himself from the web of deceit without tarnishing his reputation or breaking Tillerby's desperate, fragile spirit. The weight of his grandmother's expectations sat heavy on his shoulders, a constant reminder of the consequences of defiance and of the weight of his legacy. But the yearning for Lily, for a life of passion and art and freedom, burned brighter than ever. To be with one of his own class, who understood his jokes, his taste for opera, his taste for caviar and haggis. It was priceless. And it had been within his grasp up until Tillerby's confession at Mary Magdalene Church. Why had she done him like this? As he wandered aimlessly through the palace gardens, the winter chill biting his exposed skin, Puny Heart knew one thing for certain. The truth could never come out. The question was, how much damage could that truth inflict on the House of AZURE Pimpernel in its wake? Later that night, Lily, clad in a silk robe the color of moonlight, watched Puny Heart pace their secret meeting place, a small cottage nestled on the edge of the royal grounds. Still brooding about the little commoner queen, she teased, a playful glint in her emerald eyes. Puny Heart scoffed. Don't be ridiculous. Tillerby just lacks a certain finesse. Lily arched an eyebrow. Finesse, huh? Or perhaps you simply miss the novelty of a woman who doesn't quote Shakespeare at breakfast. He chuckled, a touch humorless. There's that too. Though Shakespeare for breakfast is preferable to, well, the alternative. The alternative being enduring endless lectures on the plight of the working class. Lily snorted. Speaking of the working class, you wouldn't believe the gossip I heard about Tillerby's family today. Apparently her uncle used to run some sort of pleasure house out on Salt Island. They imported substances from South America, allegedly. Puny Heart winced. Lovely. Just what the class system needs. A royal lineage with roots in a brothel. Lily threw her head back and laughed. Class system. Don't tell me you actually believe in that outdated relic. We both know our ancestors just followed Francis I because it was the fashionable thing to do at the time. A way to get free land and, well, the peasants and their labor that went with the free land. Perhaps, Puny Heart admitted, but a reluctant smile played across his lips. But someone has to uphold tradition, keep the pores in their place, keep the property and the coins in our coffers. Wouldn't you agree? Lily's smile turned mischievous. Oh, I fully intend to uphold tradition, Your Highness. Now, how about we get back to a more pleasurable pursuit? Puny Heart's eyes glistened with a familiar spark. You wouldn't happen to have a little something special planned for me? You know, that thing I like. Oh, darling, don't worry. I hope you can take it.